G'day guys, it's Darren from WPN here. Today I'm going to be talking to you about mental health and something that WPN is extremely passionate about. Today with me I've got Shaun, author of My Dark Companion and founder of the Strong Life Project. And we're extremely excited to announce that Shaun and the Strong Life Project are going to be partnering with WPN to be a man on the ground and the man in the know when it comes to the mental health. He's going to be helping us out with some videos like this, with some blogs, and also he's going to be talking to us a lot about his 5 key tricks or tips to happiness. So I'd just like to thank you, Shaun. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, thanks, Darren.
Yeah.
Great. Really good to be on board. I'm looking forward to it, mate. I think what you guys are doing for men's mental health and mental health in general on the back of your brand's fantastic. So happy to be on board.
Thanks, mate. Thanks. So I just want to start it off, mate, just by kicking it off by asking a question about like your journey and where you've gone to, or where you've come from, where you are now.
Sure. So, mate, the short version, which probably take 5 minutes, is so I was a police officer for 13 years. Left in the police dog squad in Brisbane here in Australia. Left that after a 13-year career with PTSD and depression and battled suicide pretty bad. And that was a lot of it on the back of, a lot of violence and shooting incidents and domestic violence, all sorts of things I saw. So coming out of the back of that, not realising what depression was about, and because it's just not a conversation most people have. So the concern for me at that point, I didn't tell anyone really about it. Like, I went on sick leave from the police and I saw a psychiatrist and I saw a psychologist, but I didn't understand fundamentally what I could do to change it. So for the last 15 years now, that's what pretty much everything's been about. I've got 2 daughters that were born in that time. A lot of things happened, but when my youngest daughter was born in 2005, I sort of thought, well, I've really got to get things together. So I've been to all different sort of seminars and happy clapper courses and you name it. I've worked with everybody I could get my hands on, because all I could get from the medical profession, and they do a fantastic job, but was the best way to manage it. And I thought there had to be more than that. So where I've got to now is, like you said, those 5 key things, we'll no doubt get to those, but those 5 things in your life that are about, if you can get your life on track and have everything sorted for yourself, then your mental health will just be looked after. Like, it'll be something that you can manage and you can handle. Mental health's not something for me that is scary. It's not something that is any different than if somebody had diabetes or you're dealing with some other condition or whatever it might be. So you can handle it, you can be happy. I've come from where I was lying in bed 3 nights in a row with a Glock pistol in my hand wanting to kill myself, to now where I live a really happy life. So there's definitely recovery and there's definitely a way back, and my belief is that's probably one very extreme end of the scale where you're at that point from a lot of the things I saw in the police, and the other end is where people are really happy, where I live now, and in the middle there's a whole lot of steps and a whole lot of things that if you catch it early, you don't get to that tough place.
Cool. So tell us a little bit about the Strong Life Project and what that is.
Sure. So Strong Life Project is something I started probably 2.5, 3 years ago now, and it's an acronym for STRONG. So it's living with strength, tenacity, resilience, optimism, nurturing, and generosity. And if you live with those 6 attributes in your life, then your mental health will be great, your relationships are good, your confidence is good, you're just a decent human. And then on the back of that, the Strong Life, I do daily podcasts, I've read my book that we talked about before, I do articles, I do keynote speaking. So there's a whole gamut of things I do through Strong Life, because my passion when I joined the police was to help people and make a difference, and that now I've really transferred to Strong Life, where I'm just helping people with mental health and whatever. Because to me it was, when I left the police I lost a lot of that identity. Now being in Strong Life gives me the opportunity to help other people make a difference so that they don't get to the place where I was.
So one of the things I want to talk about is there's a big stigma around mental health, and there's a lot of people talking about it at the moment, but one of the things I wanted to touch on is that what we're going to be talking about and what we're going to bring to the crew at WPN is who is it for? Like, is it just for the person that's at that other end?
Yeah, sure. Mate, and this is the part that I love about it now, right? Like, so when I wrote the book, if you go back 15 years ago when I left the police, I didn't tell anybody about what was going on for me. Some people knew a little bit, but nobody knew at all, because I was so scared of being judged. I was scared of being seen as weak, as a coward. And over the years, I hid a lot of it. And I wrote the book, started my book about 80 months ago for one reason only, is because I'm looking at people, all sorts of people, men, women, young, old, every ethnicity, every socioeconomic class, everything. There's a mental health issue. And the issue is because we don't talk about it. And for the stuff we're doing now with WPN, and that's obviously why I've come on board with you guys, is because of that push for mental health that you have. It's for anybody. It's for, I've got 9 and 12-year-old daughters. I talk to them about mental health. I don't use those words, but I'll talk to them and go, hey, you feeling dull? Are you a bit stressed about this? Are you a bit anxious about that? Are you a bit worried about this? That's one end of mental health. And then at the other end is absolutely the person who's, you know, seeing a clinician who's a psychologist, psychiatrist. They might be on antidepressants. It could be anything. Still those 5 things: nutrition, sleep, exercise or training, you know, mindfulness and meditation. Obviously they're already in the mental rehab. Huge. And I think there's a big part, my belief, and I haven't dealt with psychologists, psychiatrists for 15 years now, but the thing that I found was they were still like very much on the medication path, and there's people who need that, but there's also diet, sleep, training. It's just such a massive part we don't understand, and we still don't understand. And I think partly because it's hard to get a lot of money for funding for studies for things that don't produce a lot of income for companies, right? That's I'm not being a big conspiracy theorist, but the thing is, for anybody who's in that mental health space where they're struggling a bit, those sort of things can make a huge difference, like a massive difference. And if it's only getting out of your house, go for a walk for 30 minutes, even though before I said like exercising and training are different, but if you're doing nothing, that's a great start.
What we're going to be doing, and what something that's really interesting for us to be doing, is actually giving guys those tools right up front to identify where they are on that sort of scale of stress before it gets to any point.
Yeah.
And so we're going to be touching on all those key points that Shaun's talked about, and I'd like to be visiting them in each one and in detail. One of the things I wanted to bring up right now is that on our website, WPNwear.com, /10 minutes to de-stress. That's you can download our PDF where we give you a 10-minute guide, a check for how to de-stress in 10 minutes. It basically identifies things that might be stressing you at the moment, and helps you out and step through the process to get to the point where you can identify what helps you and what brings you happiness.
Fantastic.
So if you guys want to go and check that out, it's 10 minutes to de-stress. We'll put a link up in the bottom of this video as well. So yeah, Shaun, thank you very much for coming along, mate.
No problems, mate. Great.
It's been fantastic.
So good to be on board.